Hello, gossipers. Please like, share, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. So, we're going to talk Perez Hilton and the latest update. If you don't know, Perez tried to unalive himself live on TikTok. He had a sharp instrument cutting on himself. It came up that his kids and I think cousin or a niece or sister was there along with the mom, but they left before the bloody incident happened. And they're saying it's because they saw it coming. They knew something was going on, and to protect his kids, his young kids, all under the age of 13, his relatives said, you know what, we need to get out of here. And then we saw what happened. Those who were able to see the video, it was gruesome, it was horrible, it was him self harming himself because people are saying it's money, and I'm thinking it's not only money. There's a lot going on. He recently found God. He almost died twice in the hospital. He said he saw God, and everything like that, which led up to his self harming. So, people were worried about his kids, like his DCF gonna come in, but now it's being reported that his mom has filed for temporary custody of the three kids. Now, his mom, I think, is in her late 70s or early 70s. And I guess, she's the better person because she does live with them. She helps with his kids. So we're just going to read this quick article from TMZ. Before we started, I did a story on Brad Pitt and James Haven regarding Angelina Jolie, and Brad Pitt saying that he did have a moment when he was thinking of unaliving himself. He would not do it, but the thought was there. So please go and take a listen to that. We need to get up to 4,000 views if we're going to stay on this channel. Try to get it monetized. I've been doing this now for 2 years. Only a little over 3,000 subscribers. And I enjoy this, gossipers. I enjoyed coming and reading you the news. You might be someone who just want to sit and listen to someone tell you the news, entertainment worldwide. And I enjoy bringing it to you. So let's get into Perez. It says, Perez Hilton's mom has filed for temporary custody of his three minor kids, TMZ can confirm. Teresia Lavandria is asking to seal the records. In her filing, she says the children in this case should not be subjected to any further trauma related to the incident that are the basis of the petition. And Perez is on board with it. TMZ has obtained a consent form he signed to hand over Teresia temporary custodial rights over his kiddos. This includes consent to allow her to make all the necessary and reasonable medical and dental care decisions for the children, obtain copies of their records such as birth certificate, enroll them in school, and more. Page 6 was the first to report the news. This comes 1 week after the celebrity blogger was hospitalized after he harmed himself physically on a live stream during a mental health crisis at his home in Florida. Perez's family has given some updates on his well-being following the horrifying incident, last saying over the weekend he remained hospitalized under Florida's Baker Act, which allows for the involuntary hospitalization of folks suffering from severe mental issues. They also said he would need surgery to help injuries he sustained during his mental health crisis, which means he was cutting deep, right, into his skin. TMZ previously reported Perez's kids plus his niece and sister were present when he first started showing signs of a mental health crisis. Okay, so it looked like the mother wasn't there, so it was his niece and his sister. But they quickly exited the house once they realized he was unwell. The family has been able to communicate with him They told fans and last described his condition as serious but stable. Now, they're saying that it's the people on TikTok who called the police. So, why didn't his sister or the niece call 911? Right? Because they saw where it was going, unless they didn't see when he started the cutting, right? Or did the sister see something and she's like out of here? But still, why wouldn't you call 911? If you see the person is just erratic, things like that. So maybe she what call a family friend or a family to say, look, Perez looks like he's crashing out. What should we do? And they're told just to get out. I would like to think if they saw him with any weapon or, anything like that, they themselves would call 911, but they didn't. And this doesn't seem like it's the first time. Maybe the first time we know of him or, seeing it physically. But I wonder if he's always been struggling because they're saying, he yes, he was awful as a blogger. I didn't really listen to him back then when they were saying he talked bad about Britney Spears or Khloe Kardashian. Is one of the reason why she's insecure about the way how she looks, because Perez was terrible to her. And I know Michael Jackson, his nephews, one of the nephews came out and said that Perez was awful to the family, but he did not wish for him to be going through this, which is, commendable on his part. But yes, gossipers, so the grandmother, she is retaining custody. Again, I don't know why not the sister. The grandmother, like I said, is in her probably late 70s, and they're asking it to stay sealed because, of course, people will see it, and she just wants the record to be sealed and not anyone putting out stories that might get back to the kids somehow, traumatizing them more. Because now I think that they kind of know what's going on. Dad is not with us anymore. When we go to see dad, he's around security, right? Because when you go into institutions like those are being placed on that kind of watch, then there's no more privacy because they have to be watching out for you. So I'm sure they know that dad is not well, and until dad gets well, then grandma basically is going to be the guardian for us, right? Anyways, gossipers, what are your thoughts? And as always, please like, share, subscribe, watch the channel. Let's get our video views up to 4,000. We need it. We need it to stay, to stay relevant in the eyes of YouTube. Thank you, gossipers.